Hi everyone, I'm Tanaz from foreverconscious.com and this is your weekly energy forecast for the week of October 16th. We have a lot of cosmic energy brewing. We are entering into eclipse season. We have an eclipse coming up next week on the 25th, which I'll talk about in this video. We then have another one on November 8th, which is an incredibly potent blood moon eclipse. And then in between those two eclipses, we have Mars stationing retrograde. This is a lot of cosmic energy, and I will go through each of those as we go through the weeks. However, I just want to tell you, with this all coming up, I would really suggest over the next 2 weeks, just keeping your schedule light. Don't overfill your plate. Really honor and respect your boundaries. Try not to be in a rush. Try not to do things in haste. Take your time. Try to be patient with everything that you've got going on, and just make sure you're practicing that self-care, because all of this energy could have us feeling a little frazzled, a little scattered. So just keep some grounding practices, that self-care practice, and try not to overfill your plate, because we can very easily feel overwhelmed. So just a little thing to keep in mind as we enter into the next few weeks. Having said that, though, there is a beautiful, wonderful energy, a couple of wonderful energies that we have this week. I did talk about this last week, but starting this week, in the first couple of days of this week, we have the Arcturus energy, and this is beautiful, abundant, prosperous, awakening energy. We also have on October 22nd the Venus star point, and this is another incredible, wonderful energy. It is the alignment of Venus and the Sun, and as Venus and the Sun come together, it activates heart openings, heart expansion, heart. Our awareness of our heart opens, and hopefully, if you haven't already, you're able to feel that. You're able to feel that heart opening. Maybe you're able to find the gratitude for all the ways that love shows up in your life. Maybe you're able to find the gratitude for all that beautiful heart energy that lives within. And if nothing else, hopefully you are able to feel just how loved you are, this beautiful heart energy. Part of this heart energy is really getting connected to our relationships, what we value, what is important to us. So that might all come up for review this week as well. We may just feel that natural desire to align our lives with what is important, with what we truly value. If a relationship has been a bit rocky and we realize, hey, this doesn't really align with my values anymore, that heart energy will help you to give love to yourself, so you can then go out into the world and make those decisions, cut those ties, or whatever needs to happen. Venus and the Venus star point is also a wonderful time for deepening our connection with others, deepening our relationship with those around us. And there's just a lot of strong feminine energy around this Venus star point. So we might not only feel that on a romantic level, we may just feel that desire to connect to the women in our lives, to forge stronger female relationships, and to strengthen that feminine connection, which of course is beyond gender. It's more of an energetic expression. Feminine energy is flowy, it's intuitive, it just knows. And so tapping into that feminine knowing is also part of that Venus star point. So it really is beautiful energy. And while it peaks on October 22nd, we're really working with it for the coming weeks. So this is sort of our saving grace energy that we have through all of these eclipses, and even that Mars retrograde coming up, which can be a little harsh, can be a little bit tricky to navigate at first. Those energies feel a little bit more challenging. This energy feels light, it feels joyful, it feels fun and playful. So really think about how you can be a magnet for those energies. How can you bring more joy and lightness into your life? Especially when we have the transformative energies of eclipses, it tends to stir things and we can kind of get stuck in feeling a little serious or taking life too seriously. This Venus energy really is offering a dose of lightness, telling you to lighten things up, keep things light, find the joy, try not to get too attached to whatever's going on, and to remember that this is a journey and we're here learning and growing, and we're not always going to have the right answers. We're not always going to know the way, but that is part of the process. And to kind of, not get too attached, but to stay back a little bit so we can become observers rather than enmeshed in all the stuff that's going on. So try to find that lightness, that joy, and that expansion. How can you open up your world a little bit? Whether that's trying something new or venturing out, doing something that you don't normally do, how can you kind of access that piece of expansion and open a doorway, open some part of your life? And speaking of opening doorways and opening parts of your life, that's first eclipse that we have coming up. It's a solar new moon eclipse. It falls in the sign of Scorpio and it peaks on October 25th. That Venus energy is very, very active under that eclipse. I know eclipses can be transformative and challenging, but this solar new moon eclipse on October 25th has some really beautiful energy. It's in Scorpio, so there's this theme of maybe peeling back some layers, having to, uncover new truths or sit in stuff that might be a little bit uncomfortable to access a deeper truth. But this Venus energy is also very active and very present, helping us to bring in some of that expansion energy, open ourselves up, open our hearts to something new and hopefully exciting. You know when you get that heart opening because you feel a joy, you feel a little bit excited. And again, it can be in really, really small ways. Don't go looking for something big and grand, although I hope you have something big and grand, but just small ways, something that makes you smile, something that makes you laugh, taking a bite of a delicious piece of food. It's those little moments. Try to be aware of them this week. Maybe that can be your homework. Try to be aware of all the time, all the little moments that throughout the day where you get just that little tiny heart expansion, that little moment of joy, all the little things that make you feel happy and grateful to be alive. Really pay attention to them this week. And under that eclipse, that new moon eclipse on the 25th, a doorway could very well open, a new pathway can be laid. Before I get into that eclipse a little more, because there's a little more to it, and I want to give you the heads up, even though it kind of technically falls next week, we will be feeling it this week. Before I talk about that eclipse, there's something else happening on October 22nd, and that is Saturn stationing direct. So whenever a planet stations direct, we tend to feel it more strongly. We get an energy shift in that planet. And one of the beautiful things about Saturn stationing direct is that it always leaves us some sort of reward, some sort of gift. As Saturn has been moving retrograde, it has been helping us to go over the lessons. Saturn is our karmic teacher. He's known as the Lord of Karma. So he's helping us to, unpack those karmic lessons that we came here to learn. And when it goes retrograde, it sort of reviews. It's like their assessment period. It's like, have you done your homework? And I'm sure you all have done your homework. Saturn makes sure of it. You can't really get out of it. So when Saturn stations direct, after it's reviewed and assessed all your homework, let's say, it often leaves a gift. So really some nice energy there, a karmic reward coming from Saturn too. So if you want to trace back the Saturn energy, check out my article. I'll drop a link below. It's on foreverconscious.com. You can trace back maybe where Saturn has been showing up in your life, and then maybe figure out what karmic lesson you have completed, and then just stay open to the gift that follows. So some really, really nice energy in amongst all of this other strong transformative stuff. So let me now talk about that eclipse. So as I mentioned, Venus is nice and strong. We have beautiful heart opening energy. We may notice our relationships highlighted. So like I was kind of saying, if there's a relationship that needs to fall away, if there's a relationship that needs to deepen, if there's a relationship where there's more work to do, maybe you're diving deeper into that work, that could all be highlighted under that eclipse. This eclipse is also working in tandem with the eclipses that we had back in April and May of this year. So if something significant happened at that point in your life, you might notice that coming back up to the surface to be looked at again, to be readdressed. Similar themes. Doesn't mean the same thing is going to happen, but just usually there's some connection to whatever was happening there. And then also keep in mind that this eclipse is working in connection also with that blood moon eclipse that's coming up in November. The two feel a little bit inseparable with their energy. It's sort of hard to sort of extrapolate one from the other because they're sort of fusing together their energy. And that blood moon eclipse in November is just so potent. It kind of overrides this eclipse a little bit. But this eclipse, by all, looking at all eclipses, is very feels a very light. It has a very light energy. Will highlight our relationships. Will open a new pathway. It might even help us to plant some seeds. So I hope that's helpful. I hope you have enough there to go on for the week ahead. Like I said, try to keep it light. Try to keep your plate clear. Respect your boundaries and really focus and pay attention to love, all the ways that you are loved, all those little heart opening moments. Try to find the gratitude for them this week so you can harness and really access that beautiful Venus energy, which will be with us for the coming weeks. All right, you guys, I hope that's helpful. You can find more at foreverconscious.com. I'm Tanaz. Thank you so much.